See, we really have to figure something out right off the bat here with Devin Haney, the undefeated, unified lightweight champion of the world. Because Devin, I broadcasted a couple of his fights early in his career on DAZN, and I remember he did some work for us. And then Devin and I were just figuring out we may have worked together. It apparently wasn't a memorable experience for either of us, Devin. I don't know.
No, now I'm thinking about it. You weren't bald at that time, were you?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. Yeah, okay, yeah, yes, you're right.
You look like a completely different human, bro.
How funny is that? You're right. Devin, you are 100% right. I wasn't bald at that time. That is 100% right, man. Yeah, because I was trying to figure it out because we did Jake Paul. Was it his first fight? Was that his first?
That was his first fight in DAZN, I want to say, yeah.
Yeah, it was in Miami right before Super Bowl in February 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Crazy. Wow. Crazy. Yeah, so Devin and I are just all broadcasting partners, you know. Devin, you've had an incredible start to your career. Obviously, you have a huge fight coming up, but as you kind of have gotten to this place of accomplishment of things that were projected for you, is this something that you always had conviction in knowing you could do? Obviously, you were projected to be this outstanding boxer, but were there moments of self-doubt at all on this journey, or have you known all along, like, no, this is where I'm headed. I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to be a unified champion. I'm going to be one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world.
Yeah, no, I knew that I would be here one day. Everything, happened so fast, and, it feels like fast, but, it's been a long time coming. But I always knew I would be in this position. It was only a matter of time.
When you think about the beginning of your journey and getting into boxing, what are your first memories?
Man, my dad taking me to the gym at a young age, 7, 8 years old. Me just, at first I really didn't like boxing like that. I didn't really like I always liked to fight, but I didn't like the hard work it came with it. I was a football player. I used to like to play football, and it was a team sport, so it was it was more fun for kids. But just over time, I just fell in love with the fight game.
Now you and your pops have a real close relationship, right? And how is that how is that like dynamic played out? I mean, I had me and my dad were really close when I was young. He was my coach growing up. And then he my parents split up and we got separated. But having that dynamic for you all the way through, how has that been?
Oh man, it's been a blessing. My dad was the first person to take me to the gym. And now he's my coach. He's coached me in the biggest fights in the world. So it's a blessing that he's been here along this journey every step of the way. And I wouldn't want it any other way.
When you're in the middle of a fight, what's the most common, if there's one thing your dad always tries to remind you of, what is it?
I don't know, because my dad be on me about so many different things. I can't say. I can't pinpoint just one specific thing. Obviously my jab. He wants me to work my jab. Defense is most important to him. Being defensively, sound and, listening to my defense and that. So I would say those are the two main things.
I know, one of the guys who you have learned from is Floyd, right? Who was incredibly, proficient when it comes to the defensive aspect of boxing. Obviously, he's a million different superlatives when it comes to boxing, but that was something he obviously was known for. And correct me if I'm wrong though, Devin, but didn't he talk to you about if you want to have a long career in this sport, you got to be able to avoid getting hit?
Yeah, 100%. That's something that he told me early in my career, that if you want to have longevity in the sport, you got to take as less punishment as possible. And that always stuck with me. I always, I live by that. And yeah.
When was the first time you got a chance to connect with Floyd? Because I know you grew up in the Bay, right?
Yeah. I'm from the Bay. I moved to Vegas at a young age, but we've been back and forth since then. But when I first met Floyd, I want to say I was like maybe 9, 10 years old.
9, 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you still claim the Bay? So you still
Course,
claim us?
of course,
Okay,
of course.
okay.
I just came from the Bay yesterday. Yeah, no. Of course, I got that Bay Area blood in me. My mom lives in San Francisco. She lives in the city still. A lot of family still there, so I'm always back and forth between here and the Bay.
All right, that's
Vegas.
good. That's
Of
good
course,
to hear.
yeah. I know you're from the Bay too.
I'm from Vallejo.
Okay, for sure.
So, Devin, when you meet Floyd early on, is it a feeling of, hey, I want to impress Floyd Mayweather. I want to get on his radar. Is it a feeling of, I'm nervous to talk to him? Is it a, hey, I belong, even as a young kid, like, these are the kind of people I belong talking with, champion boxers. What are those early interactions like that you had with Floyd?
Yeah, I mean, when I met Floyd, I was like starstruck. I couldn't believe it. Like I wouldn't say he was the first celebrity I met because I had met E40 before that, but he was the second. He was the second one, so it was like it was new to me. And I was watching him train, and I just was watching his whole mannerism, and I was just studying him at a young age, and I was just like nervous to even take a picture with him.
And now here he is, a mentor for you. Pretty cool. What, Devin, I want to take you, I'm going a little all over the map, but you had an enormous fight in Australia. My buddy actually broadcast for DAZN, Justin Shackle, and he broadcasted that fight. Said it was the coolest sports atmosphere he has ever been in. And correct me if anything I say is wrong here, Devin, but because of a rematch clause, you had to go fight that fight in Australia, George Kambosos' home area. And so you had 45,000 people and almost the entire crowd is rooting against you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Everything you said was correct. I had to go in his, home country against 45,000 of his fans, his people rooting against me, booing me, but cheering him on. But it was, what I wanted to do to prove myself and to, become undisputed champion.
Yeah, and you did. When you're dealing with an atmosphere like that,
man,
how
does that affect what you're doing in the ring compared to, say, if you're boxing in front of a split crowd or a crowd that favors you?
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like wherever I was at, the ring was my home. So it didn't matter if it was 100,000, 200,000, million of his fans. When we stepped into that ring, I was going to prove that I was a better fighter. So it was a crazy atmosphere to be there. But when we got in that square circle and it was the bell rung, it was nobody that could fight for him.
And nobody that could fight for him. And then you got 45,000 people that's shutting the fuck up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was the main goal, is to take the crowd out of the fight. Of course, they were trying to be as loud as possible and trying to get him, motivate him and get him riled up. But my goal was to go in there and was to silence them, and that's what I did.
Yes, you certainly did. When you think about your toughest challenges to this point, would that be number one, fighting in that atmosphere, or is there something else?
Yeah, I would say that was number one. As far as speaking, not because the actual fight, but just the fearing of the unknown. You don't know what to expect. Going over there, you didn't know how it would be. You didn't know in the beginning. My dad wasn't able to come. He came the day before the fight, so I was training there for 3 weeks without my dad.
Wow.
Where a lot of my team wasn't able to make it, and it was just the fear of the unknown. But once we got into the fight, the fight was easy.
Was everything like leading up to it good though? Like the working out, the 3 weeks working out, was there any like hiccups with that, or like was it fine once you got over there?
Yeah, for the most part, it was fine. Once we got over there, there was a few hiccups with like the living situation. and just not knowing a lot of stuff. You don't even like know what to eat. You can't trust anything because you just don't know. But after we got over the first few days or week or so, we set in and we got comfortable. And then the second time was even better. It was like we were fighting at home. We knew everything. We knew what to expect. It really wasn't much nerves going into it.
You have to do something that C and I are glad we don't, and that's make weight on any given day. And one of the things that fascinates me in just covering boxing for a couple of years, like I did, Devin, is how you guys, to the like, I don't know what the actual weight term is, but like, let's just say, I'm going to say milliliter. Like you guys are so aware of if you're slightly overweight or slightly below. Yeah. It's amazing how in tune with your body you are. My question to you is, what is something that you eat and know instantly you're going to blow up? Like what's something that like, like if I have this, like, it's going to hit me with like 2 pounds on the scale instantly or whatever it might be.
I can't say exactly one thing. I mean, anything that my chef doesn't like want me to eat, allow me to eat, whatever he doesn't make, then I know that it's not good for me. So I try to stick to eating things that he makes for me and my nutrition, what they put together. And I try to stick to that because I know anything else out of that is not good.
There's certain cities I land in and I gain fucking 15 pounds. Like if I land in New Orleans, I'm already 15 pounds heavier before I get off the plane.
All right, along the same lines, Devin, what is you win a big fight? All right, let's say you take out Lomachenko on May 20th. Yeah. What's the first thing you want to eat afterwards to celebrate?
Oh man, I want some. When I'm in training camp, I crave like steak. I want that steak, like a lot of like pasta, carbs, stuff like that. Stuff I can't really eat in camp. Pizza, of course. Man, the list. You'd be here for an hour if I told you all
this. So like 1 a.m. Let's call it the morning of May 21st. This is what you're hammering all that stuff. You're just going down the list.
Yeah. I tend to get like some steak and like a dessert.
Nice.
How long is the camp leading up to the fight?
8 to 10 weeks.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So you're in it, man.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of it right now. What's a typical, not to make the whole podcast about food, but I find this stuff intriguing and I think our audience will as well. What is a typical day's diet for you right now as you're preparing for this fight?
It depends on what day it is. Like say on a sparring day, we wake up, we eat like oatmeal, berries. Then we come home from the gym, we'll probably have some type of fish with some veggies. My chef right now, he would be going crazy if he heard because it's way more stuff to it. Basic stuff. Because every day it just changes. I genuinely feel like I got one of the best chefs and nutritionists in the world. So he makes the best he makes it the best he can, and as a nutritionist with as well.
I feel like you've experienced it too, C. Having a private chef has got to be awesome.
Oh, it's the best. It is. Yeah, like, for sure. I mean, it's good, especially when you was like when I played, I was fat, so I could eat whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? Like now that I'm trying to getting in better shape, it's good to have it like meal prep, have a nutritionist. But when you're like a fat athlete and you have a chef, like they can make whatever you want. So it's like having an in-home buffet.
So when you were playing, you ate whatever you wanted.
Yeah, when I was playing, I would pitch at like anywhere from like 315 to 330, just because I was used to that. Like I was almost like an offensive lineman, and I trained like an offensive lineman, so I needed all the calories. And I used to always say like mass equals gas. The bigger I was, the harder I can throw. So and when I retired, I didn't want to live like that. You know what I'm saying? Us being black men and the heart issues and all of that stuff, I wanted to get down, slim down. So now I'm anywhere from like 265 to 270.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's crazy that you less than when you were actually playing.
I'm in way better shape now than when I was actually playing.
So how could you pitch now compared to, obviously you're not in your prime anymore, but how could you pitch now compared to when you were playing?
Man, so I got down. I actually got down in 2013. I got down to 268. I came in had a great off season, worked out hard. I was eating right, and I felt strong. I felt great. I was usually I would throw anywhere from 92 to 95. I got on the mound at spring training. I was throwing the ball 83 miles an hour. Just nothing behind it. I felt weak on the mound. I felt strong in the gym, but weak on the mound. And I didn't I couldn't find my body in space. I was just used to being big. You know what I'm saying? So I'm falling all over the mound and doing all kind of shit. And it's coming out and it was 83. So they was yeah, you need to put on 30, 40 more pounds. And they stopped messing with me about my weight after that. Yep.
You started eating, okay, for sure.
Yep.
Mass equals gas.
Mass equals gas. But,
for sure.
Bless you. Yeah.
God bless you.
But I was the same way. I always had to weigh in spring training. They wanted me under 305, and I did all these crazy diets, lemonade diets, all this different stuff. And every time, but my rehydration, I would get back up. I would weigh in at 295, and then by the next day, I would be 320. Because I go to Taco Bell, Wendy's, McDonald's, everything, right back.
For sure.
I know. I love that your celebration meal is Taco Bell, Wendy's, all this stuff.
Here's a steak.
Devin's a steak and maybe a dessert. No wonder Devin stays in such great shape all year long. Devin, how about this fight in particular? I know it took a while for Lomachenko to come around and take this fight. What is getting to fight him, and what does this opportunity represent for you?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge opportunity for me. It's been a fight that I've been wanting for 3-4 years now. I've been calling for this fight for a long time, and when Loma had the belts, he didn't want to fight me. He chose to go another direction, but I genuinely know that I'm a better fighter, and I told him then that fight me now because it will only get worse and worse, and he chose to fight me now, so I'm going to show him how worse it got.
Wow.
Yeah, that's confident. And you are the unified lightweight champion now. We also know now this the result of this fight, the audience will know when they listen because of when this recording is actually being released. But another big fight for some of these young fighters around your weight class, obviously with Tank and with Ryan Garcia. Looking at those two guys, looking at Shakur Stevenson, looking at yourself, what does this moment in boxing feel like for you guys, for young fighters? How much of a thirst is there for you all to fight each other, knowing that sometimes that doesn't happen? Sometimes the sport gets in the way, promotional aspects get in the way, but knowing that there's a lot of intrigue to see all of you guys, get a crack at each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for boxing. We are all so young, but we are the top guys. I think the lightweight division is the best division in boxing, but we all have to fight each other, in which we are. Tank and Ryan is fighting each other. Me and Loma's fighting each other. One day, Shakur will get in the mix, and we got a long career of fights to make between each other, and it's even got more guys coming up that'll enter the mix. But man, it's a good time for boxing.
Man, that's why it's so exciting as a boxing fan that you guys are all making these fights. You and Loma and Ryan and Tank. I'm actually headed out to that fight. I'm excited. This is the first time that we get to see young, good fighters in their prime choosing to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? At a time, I feel like it's really gonna bring boxing back. You guys are the faces of boxing right now, and you're right. Yeah. The light heavyweight is the best division in boxing. It's the best fighters right now. So it's really cool to see you guys making a concerted effort to bring the sport back.
Yes, I agree. We look at guys like Earl and Crawford. They should have fought, a long time ago. I'm not saying that it's not a great fight. It's still a big fight, but just imagine they would have fought, a few years ago, or even, a year ago.
Yeah, no doubt. Devin, when you're in that situation and you're like, hey, I'm a competitor, I want to fight the best, how many conversations, and I know it's different for each boxer, but how many conversations go into convincing the team around you that this is a good idea? That, no, we don't need to be so protective of being undefeated or whatever it might be. We need to fight the best fighters.
No, I mean, it's not really even a conversation. It's something that my team knows that, I want to dare to be great. I want to show the world how great I really am, and that I am the best fighter in the world. My team knows what type of fighter I am, who I am. And so it's not really much convincing or anything like that. It's we're calling for these guys because we know.
Man, as a boxing fan, I thank you for that. You and your team, because I mean, it's been a long time coming, waiting for some good young fighters to willing to fight each other.
100%.
Is there a fight in mind you want to take immediately following this one, if all goes as you want it to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of big fights that I would love to take after this one, but my main focus right now is this one, because I cannot get to those fights if I don't, win this one. I got to be victorious, and I don't only want to be victorious. I want to really be dominant and really, oppose my will on Loma and show the world how great I am. So my main focus is doing that, and then after that, we'll see what's next.
When you're away from boxing, Devin, what kind of things you like to do?
I like to shop. I'm very into fashion. I like to travel. I mean, a lot of things.
Where's your favorite place you've traveled?
Favorite place. I like Mykonos, Greece.
Nice.
I like Dubai.
Nice. I've never been to Dubai. I hear good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say those are my two favorite.
Have you been on African safari yet?
No.
Make that trip if you can.
Really?
That's fun. Yeah, it's dope.
Sure. Yeah, I've been looking for new places to travel. I love traveling. I love going to, just different sceneries, different places, different atmospheres, and yeah.
Check out Africa. Africa's dope.
Sure.
Now, your nickname, The Dream, when did you get it?
That was a name that was given to me when I was young, when I first started boxing.
Why?
I don't know. Just someone in my family just was like, "Oh, you should be the dream. Like, you're the dream." And I just liked it, and I just stuck with it.
So people around you, do they call you Dream or do they call you Devin?
They call me Champ.
That's right.
More like Champ. More like me.
Yeah, that's right. As they should. All right, so we got May 20th, you against Lomachenko. Cannot wait for this fight. It's going to be outstanding.
Yes, sir.
Devin, thank you for giving us all this time today. Thanks for being my broadcast partner. I know it was an incredible experience for both of us back in
back when you had hair.
Yeah, back when I had hair. Back when Jake Paul was just starting his journey. And we're looking forward to watching, man. Good luck. Go get him. And hopefully we'll talk to you again on the other side as a 30-0 boxer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, take care, Devin.